Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to review our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and display that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future instrument, security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, as partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors, assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention over to we're going to turn our attention over to the financial news. Okay. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Dirk. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to stop share here for a moment. We're going to turn our attention to our financial portal. There it is. Okay, so just kind of looking to see what kind of news could potentially impact the markets today. Well, we have a fair amount of it. Okay, so we have or in the process of receiving our U.S. unemployment rate. Okay, so it kind of appears to have ticked higher here. Non-farm payroll is positive. Okay, 119,000 versus I guess 51,000. Initial jobless claims looks like has dropped, which is kind of hard to believe, but looks like that's down also. Average earnings year over year took a tick up. U.S. private payrolls also ticked up as well. All right. And so we still have some more, kind of news kind of headed our way. All right. So we have existing home sales coming in at 10 a.m. Eastern today. And then we round out some of these news events that could impact the markets with UX existing home sales also reporting at 10 a.m. We have 10-year tip high yield bonds reporting at around noon. And then we close out the day with some members of the Fed speaking, Goolsbee, Moran, and Paulson. Okay, obviously some of this is going to happen after the markets here, but certainly the 12:40 and the 1 p.m. press briefing could have potential impact on the markets. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, we have some more financial news. We have the inflationary numbers from Michigan coming in at 10 a.m. tomorrow, which could have the impact of the markets. And then we have the beginnings of the G20 meetings, okay, that will begin tomorrow as well. So definitely a fair amount of news that is being digested in the markets. I would say relatively positive news on the employment front, regardless of maybe some of the things that we've been seeing. I'm not exactly sure what sector these jobs are coming in. But from the tech sector, we keep hearing reports about layoffs. So I don't know if those layoffs have actually hit the books or not. But it is a bit surprising to see that that we're not seeing as much in the way of jobless claims. Okay. Hey. All right. Good morning, Dave. All right. So let's go ahead and start to take a look at the portal here, the trading platform in particular. So let's go ahead and open up our charts. and take a look and see what what context we can pull away from the markets. So we're going to go ahead and start not with the micros. We're going to go ahead and start with um, the standard daily chart, and you can see all the movement that we've been receiving of late really hasn't, really gone anywhere, right? So we continue to remain in this consolidation pattern on the daily, right? We've kind of drawn this before, right? So I don't know if this is ascending wedge or just a standard symmetrical wedge here, but you can see here that the market has remained inside consolidating. Okay, kind of looking maybe for some additional information to kind of drive price in one direction or the other. So nothing really to speak of with respect to direction in this market. Market does appear to be in some sort of range, in some sort of consolidation. Potentially we need to continue to look for edges of this range for opportunity, right? The upper end of this triangle pattern would be an opportunity. Certainly down below here, along this edge down below, also would serve as an opportunity. Now, I will say that it does appear that we are creating a little bit of a demand zone here, but you could also make the case that we have a similar kind of area above, right? So again, just a classic indication that we are in some sort of range, right? So we have kind of a supply zone or resistance area here, right? Price came up to this area and was not able to close inside it again, right? Indicating that sellers have kind of stepped into this market. Same goes for the buyers here on the lower end. We said price got to as low as for a little maybe 39.30. Found some buyers and we kind of reacted away from it. And again, sellers tried to take price back below 4,000. And again, we found some buyers in this market. Okay, so difficult to say again which direction is dominant at this point. All I can say based on the daily is that we are in some sort of consolidation. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off some of this business here. Get a little cluttered here. We'll leave the let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and remove these lines here. They're not offering me much of anything. All right. So again, if we're looking at price, most recent price action, well, you would say that maybe the market is looking to head higher, right? But if we get a larger context, you can see that this move that we're making, looking to make higher, is in a larger downtrend. Okay, so the question becomes, if we are indeed in a uptrend or beginnings of an uptrend, then it's at some point we need to make a new high, right? So we need to be able to get above 41.30, right? We have a developing bullish engulfing candle, which indicates that maybe there is a little bit more upside to this market, but we have to be aware that we're still inside a bearish swing. Okay, so it'll be interesting for me to see how well. I know this 41.30 is still well above us, but if we are going to, I guess, restore this bullish kind of pattern that we've been seeing back here, then we need to get price certainly above 41.30 and then ultimately above 42.30. Okay, 42.40, somewhere in that range. Okay. All right. So 4-hour chart again, it's kind of mixed, I would say. I kind of right now I'm kind of hanging my hat on the development of this bullish engulfing candle, indicating above an area of some support here, right? So again, that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on. As long as price remains above this 40.40 level, okay, then there's obviously the possibility that price can continue higher. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart here. 30-minute chart. Let's see, where are we? Okay, 30-minute chart. All right. So first order of business here, we're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. We're going to take a look at yesterday's price action and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, so drag that across here, right about there. Okay, so you can see that price is inside some sort of range. I'm gonna see. Okay, yeah. So inside some sort of range. Okay. So before we move on to another instrument, I need to see if I can remove this little D that I'm seeing here and delayed um, quotes here. Okay. In any case, right now it appears that we are inside value. All right, inside value from yesterday, indicating that we could be in some sort of range headed into the session. If I open up my initial balance and take a look and see what the initial balance range produced on the various sessions, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Asia market to start here, okay, and see what initial balance range we created. Well, we got a little bit of a sell-off, right? We got a nice little sell-off to the downside, and we kind of reacted away, not once but twice, away from this level that I have drawn here around 40.40. Okay, so nice little extension. So I would say there's probably a fair amount of sellers in this market. Okay, fair amount of sellers in this market at this point, certainly in Asia. Taking a look here at the London, let's see what London kind of followed path here. London actually is showing signs that maybe it wants to take the market higher, right? You can see here, looking at these candles, we created a little bit of a, I don't know, W pattern possibly, right? We have this pattern that that's been created here that looks a little bit like a W pattern. Again, we still have that 4100 level above us that could turn to continue to be resistant, because if we look at the general path from left to right, you can see that we are technically in a downtrend, right? So again, these areas 4100 could offer us a location for a continuation move to the downside. Okay. I'm going to pause the stream here in a minute here, guys, so that I can see if I can understand why I'm getting a little bit of delayed quotes. So we're going to go ahead and stop the sharing, and then see if I can actually address what's ailing. Okay, let's see. Okay, got that back. All right, let's come back to share. Sorry for that, guys, but looks like I was getting delayed data, and I didn't want to continue with that. Okay, so all seems good in the world here at this point. All right, so what to make of this? Well, just to kind of summarize this, right? So right now we kind of have a little bit of a mixed view here, right? Asia view was more downside, right? London is showing signs that maybe they're interested in taking this market higher, right? We got a nice reaction away from the initial balance high, right? We still are not out of the how we say out of the woods yet, right? To kind of eliminate, we still haven't really broken structure here, but if we do manage to get above 4100, okay, if we do manage to go get above 4100, that could be the kind of the area that where we could see maybe an acceleration of our move to the upside, right? Because again, this is probably the first indication where we're starting to see maybe a little bit of a break in structure here to the upside, of late here. Okay, so I mean, again, if I just draw this here, right, if I'm getting as many touches of candles as I can here, right, so I'm looking at something along these kind of lines, right? So right now it appears that it wants to break above and maybe continue higher. 4100 or 4105 is going to be an important level for me. Okay, if just to see if price can manage to get above, because I've already gotten some indication or some rejection away from initial balance high. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and move on to the crude oil market. Crude oil market. We had EIA yesterday. I don't think the EIA really produced all that much of anything. We really had kind of not the greatest moving price action in this market. I have to admit. Okay, so looking at this again, we seem to be barcoding here. All right, every price higher has been met with sellers. Every sell has been met with buying. So we continue to continue to remain in some sort of bearish kind of channel here, right? Not really going anywhere, right? We continue to hang around 58.50 all the way to say, I don't know, 62. We've been in this kind of range inside this bearish channel, right? So daily, okay, not really giving me much of anything other than to say that until further notice, I think we probably need to look at the edges of the ranges here, right? Not getting any sort of sustained moves in any direction, right? So crude oil very much in range on the daily. Looking at the 4-hour chart, okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range here for a moment and take a look and see what we have in store here. So looking at the 4-hour chart again, you can see a lot of I don't know, candles that are really not providing all that much in the way of direction. Okay. So if I look at this more recently, right, I can see on the 4-hour that we had a pretty sustained move here to the downside. I don't know if that's a result of the EIA. Does not appear to be. Okay. But in any case, leading up to EIA, we had a pretty strong move to the downside. Since then, as part of EIA, it looks like we had a little bit of a rally, but nonetheless, we are still inside this swing to the downside. So I would have to say that there's probably more opportunity, if we're kind of following the trend here, that there's probably more opportunity to the downside at this point than to the upside. Okay. If we are going to truly break higher, we need to get above this 60-60 level. Okay. Right? We need to get above the 60-60 level based on this 4-hour chart. Because as I get more context here, right, you can see that we broke down, we came back to retest, and right now we have a developing bearish candle. Now the question is, can it close below this candle? If it can close below this candle, then I would say that we have maybe the makings of a move to the downside. If it's unable, obviously, to close below this candle and close, say, above, then I think maybe we have a chance to get back to the highs here. But again, this is not a market that's showing a lot of conviction in any direction. All right, let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and remove that bearish channel that we were looking at here. Okay, so you can see here, right? We had a pretty impulsive move here to the downside, right? And then I don't know for those Elliott wave people, but looks like we had some sort of correction pattern here, right? We corrected. Okay. Now the possibility is for me is that maybe we make another leg to the downside. That's kind of what it's looking like, right? So looking at these as kind of waves here. So I don't know, maybe there's another wave of selling before we move higher. Okay. Looking at the fixed range volume profile, we're gonna see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Drag that across to the close here, and you can see that price is above value at this point in time. Okay, we had price exceed the value range right at the tail end of the session. Okay, probably as a result of the EIA report, maybe a lack of supply during the overnight and into London. We'll take a look at this a little bit closely when we look at the initial balance range. But you can see that price came back to this value area range. I'm going to go ahead and extend this line here because I think this is probably more visible that way. You can see that price came back to that value area high and offered us a nice location for a continuation move to the upside. Okay. So the question now becomes, are we going to continue to sustain this, or are we going to kind of remain in this range between, say, 60 down to 59, right? Looks like right now is kind of where we're at. Okay. So right now we are below our 9 EMA. We're challenging our VWAP. Okay. If price closes below VWAP, then I would say that we have, again, maybe the possibility of price continuing lower. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at our initial balance ranges and see what the various markets were able to do with this instrument. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Asia market and see. Okay, looking at Asia, you can see that Asia was pretty much neutral up until the point that London came on board. You can see that price remained in this range. We took a peek below, but found some buyers below, right around the 59 level. So I would say that this 59 level, okay, is going to be a level of importance, right? That's not only a level of 50% extension of this initial balance range, but it's also around this value area high. So I would say that this area could remain an area of some support in this market, okay? Moving on to London. So London appears to have, caught a bid here a little bit. Now we've actually closed back inside, or looking to close back inside this initial balance range. Assuming that we do, and we can't hold above VWAP, maybe we rotate all the way down to 59.40 and revisit this same area that we left. Okay, in the U.S. session. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the London, right? So Asia was pretty much neutral. London was initially bearish, and now maybe the beginnings of maybe a rotation of range. So I would say that headed into the session, probably neutral to bearish is kind of my view of this market. Okay, so neutral to bearish seems to be appropriate. I think right now we have a reasonable chance, if price does indeed close with some conviction here, that we could get a rotation, right? We could see price rotate all the way back to the beginnings of where London took the market, okay, or started to take the market, I should say. Okay, all right. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of taking a peek here at chat, taking a peek at participants and the likes. Well, I'll go ahead and put on my little marketing hat here a little bit before we move on to the equities, and encourage folks, if you have not already, hit the subscribe button. If you have not already left a post on the portal indicating on how these pre-market reviews is supporting your trading, I would encourage you to do that as well. Okay, and then we do have a little bit of kind of a coffee fund going on as well as with super chats. If you want to contribute to that fund, that's also welcome. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the markets that everybody's interested in looking at, and that is the equities. Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of maybe pent up demand here. I don't know, maybe the result of some of the positive earnings that we've been receiving or whatnot in NVIDIA, but looks like the market is maybe showing some signs that maybe it wants to head higher. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart. Okay, we got a gap open. Okay. We got a gap open. So what does that indicate? Well, it looks like there is some support, some sort of pent up demand that people could not wait for price, or could not wait to get in. Okay, right? We leave these gaps when we have a lot of orders that are kind of pending. Right now, this gap is eventually will at some point get filled. Don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but the fact that we opened with a gap is indicating that maybe there's a possibility that we head higher in this market. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see I don't know if it's a gap or whether it's rollover, but nonetheless, we are starting to see some price action that indicates that maybe the market wants to head higher. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. So you can see that price got above our 9 EMA, above our 21 EMA, and now it's working away. It's away above our VWAP. Okay, a lot of indications here of maybe price action that wants to head higher. Where can this move potentially stall? Well, I see above us 25,800. Right now, we still need to get above this 25,300. Right, if we are going to sustain this move to the upside, we need to get above 24,300 and hold. Okay, and hold. Right, so that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Right, it seemed like we broke some structure here to the upside. Right, if I draw my little channel, here it is. Right, we broke above and held above. Now I can't say that I'm overly impressed with the volume. Okay. This volume here is not really indicative of the kind of volume that I would expect to see to have this kind of sustained move to the upside. But we'll take a look at this a little more closely when we move down to the 30-minute chart. Okay. So right now we're seeing some bullish price action. Okay. On the daily, on the 4-hour. We're going to take a look here at the 30-minute. I wanted to look at the 30-minute. We got to the 15. Let's see. 30 minutes. Okay. So what are we seeing in the way of volume? Well, okay. Well, it looks like volume may be picking up here of late. We got looks like about 4,000 more buy orders and sell orders, and that's generating this candle, which is what we would expect to see, right? So our volume is starting to creep up here. We see that our DMI, right? We got a nice strong positive DI reading, right, on this candle, right? We see that our ADX indicator is starting to curl up. If that ADX indicator can get above say 25, then we're probably in a pretty strong momentous kind of trade here to the upside. Okay. Let's see. We're going to first take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to compare where price is in relation to yesterday's price action to start here. So we're going to go ahead and drag that across here. There it is. Okay. So there's our volume profile. So you can see that as a result of maybe some of the earnings that we received for NVIDIA, that was met positively by the market. Okay. So the market rallied, right? Rallied after earnings, NVIDIA earnings, and now has maybe make an attempt here, right? Nothing in the overnight that to speak of, to be honest. But now, as we approach the open of the U.S. session, looks like maybe we may have some people that maybe are attempting at least to break this market higher. Okay. I would say it's relatively important if this is going to be sustained, that we remain above. I'm gonna keep it as resistant for now. This 25,200 level. I'm gonna keep it as resistant for now because this candle has not yet closed. Right. If the candle does indeed close to the in the positive direction, then maybe, and with some volume, then maybe I can use that level as maybe an area for a continuation move to the upside. I'm always guarded on these kind of breakouts to kind of buy these highs, right? Because as we all know, there's always the possibility that sellers could step in and drive price back the same in the opposite direction of you intended. So it's a little bit how do you say? I'd rather let the market participants, the participants that have the big portfolios, to help define what direction they want to take the market, and then I come in in the caboose right later and see if I can maybe kind of attach to myself to their coattails. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Okay. Let's see. We looked at the value range. So again, I would expect that this level down below here would be supportive. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that value area high. Looks like that's what, 24,000. Looks like 24,800 or somewhere in that range. I would expect that level to be a supportive area. Okay, should price come down to that level, which doesn't appear that it wants to at this point. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the initial balance. We're going to collapse this here a little bit. We're going to take a look at the initial balance range across the various markets. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Asia market and see what the Asia market had to say about all of this. And the Asia market was neutral, right? Relatively neutral. Didn't really go in any one direction. The moment we kind of hovered or above the initial balance range for most of the session and went nowhere, right? We came back. We found some buyers at the 50% extension or right around this 25,050 level. We found some buyers, and when London opened, okay, London seemed to be on board with the idea of taking the market higher. Okay, so you can see that we got a nice little, or working on a nice extension here to the upside, assuming that we can hold above this level in the next what is that? Is that the next couple of minutes? Okay, then this level, the initial balance high around 25,000, say 190, 25,200. could be a logical place for price to reverse and continue. If we close back inside the initial balance range, then maybe we head back in the other direction. So relatively important level at this moment in time here in the Nasdaq. All right. Let's see. I think that's pretty much so. Right now, I would say on a shorter time frame, a medium time frame, looks like the market is a bit on the bullish side. And Nasdaq, we probably should maybe look for some opportunities here to the bullish side. Another level I'm going to draw here just to make sure I understand that this level here, this 25,000, not 360 level, could be maybe a level that could be somewhat resistant to price. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the ES market here. We'll take a look and see what the ES has to say about all this. Again, looks we got the same kind of gap that we were talking about in the Nasdaq. We're going to remove our drawings here, so you can see that same gap that was created in Nasdaq also created a gap in the ES market. So there is a little bit of demand, okay, that we have here. We had a gap here. That wasn't really sustained up to the upside. We filled that gap. I'm looking at other gaps here, guys, to maybe give us a sense of generally what direction this gap could take, right? So we had a nice gap here, right? And that gap served as a support zone for price action to head higher. So that's, I would say, a possibility here. Okay, we have a gap, and there's a possibility that we can head higher. I think the area that I would maybe pay attention to on a daily level is this 68.80 level. 68.80 level seems to be kind of that level that I'm going to be watching to see if price is able to break that level and maybe turn this market that maybe has been a little bit bearish of late to a market that could turn bullish. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, again, similar to what we were seeing in the Nasdaq. We are seeing that we're starting to begin to get some price structure that would indicate that the market maybe is looking to head higher. We were in this kind of barcoding phase here during the overnight here, right? Barcode, not really showing any direction. Finally, when let's see, what time is this? Into Wednesday, we started to see maybe that we were getting into some sort of direction. Maybe there was maybe a sneak peek of maybe some of the earnings that were going to be reported. But in any case, we started to catch a bid. Okay, people were interested in maybe participating in this market to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what the fixed range volume profile has to say about all of this. We're going to compare where the fixed range volume profile is with current price action here. And let's see, we're going to go back this here right about there and then drag that across to the close. Okay. And you can see that price is well above value, well above the value range from yesterday's session. Again, I'm going to mark this level around 66.75 as maybe a future area of some support in this market. Don't know whether that's going to take place. I do know that the price with the close of this candle is pretty extended here to the upside. Okay, in this market. All right. So we had a 6 a.m. close or 9 a.m. close of this candle. Was relatively strong. I'm kind of looking to see the strength of this here. So we got a pretty strong volume candle here that's aligned with the general direction of the market. Not seeing that kind of follow through that we like to see on a trend volume wise as of yet, but we are a little bit of under a half hour from the open of the New York session. Okay, so nonetheless, let's take a quick peek here at the not fixed range, but we're going to look at the initial balance here for a moment. Okay, and see what we can gather here. All right, so let's start off with Asia. Okay, Asia is looking like similar to what we saw in Nasdaq. Okay, so it kind of made some attempt, I guess, to get above the initial balance range. Wasn't able to. Got back down to initial balance low. Found some buyers, and once London opened up, we got some interest in taking this market higher. Okay, we now have a close above the initial balance range, right? So my expectation is that this initial balance range high is going to serve as some sort of area, right? Some sort of area that could offer us maybe a logical location for a continuation move to the upside. Okay, not a guarantee, but that would be a logical place for price to come to and see maybe a continuation. So around this 67.60, 67.56, somewhere along those lines. Okay. Headed into the session, okay, again, the daily, the 4 hour, and even the 30-minute are all kind of indicating to me that maybe the market has some legs to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the Dow. All right, we're going to take a look at the Dow here, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. And again, similar to what we saw on the other markets, we're in developing a rather strong bullish candle, and assuming that this candle does indeed close in its current fashion, that would complete a 3-bar reversal, right, pattern here, right? So would not be a surprise here, since we are up against an area of support. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we are seeing, again, similar to what we saw in the other equity markets. We're seeing some price structure that would indicate that the market wants to continue higher. We broke above the 9 EMA, came back, retested, found some more buyers. Now we're actually working our way above above VWAP, which could lead us to maybe a rally up to at least, I would say, 47,200. Okay, this is the last kind of balance area that we have here of where we have balanced buyers and sellers. Okay. And if we get through that, well, then there's no reason that we can't get back to the highs here, 48,400, somewhere in that range. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart will, you can see that we have a developing candle. Looks like some volume did come in to this market, indicating that maybe there's a possibility that some larger participants of this market are interested in taking or participating in a bullish move in this market, right? A lot of volume to the buy side here. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance here. Let's see. Well, we're going to start off with the fixed range volume profile, and then I work our way to the initial balance. All right. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and drag that across to the close. Okay, so you can see that the price is well above the range. This is again going to be an area that I'm going to take a look at and watch and monitor to see if price does come back to this 46,220, 230 level, and that could potentially offer us a location to participate in this current move. I know that we're pretty extended above that now, but that would be maybe a level that we can watch in the future. We're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance and see what we're doing in the way of, well, you can see that on the DMI here, right? Pretty strong move, momentum move here to the upside, big drop in momentum on the sell side. And the ADX indicator is giving us some indication that this move has some weight behind it. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the initial balance range here. Okay, going to take a look at the initial balance and see what the various markets did with this market. So we'll start with Asia. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a look. Asia was pretty neutral. Okay, didn't really offer us much extension in either direction. It's really not until we got closer to the U.S. session, to be honest. Looks like London was pretty neutral as well, up until the start of the U.S. Okay. So created a little bit of a double bottom here around the 46,400 level. Looks like, half hour before the open of the session, we caught a little bit of a bid. I don't know if this is probably news related, possibly. We did get some news that maybe could, we got some positive employment news. Okay. That could maybe be translating the reason that we're getting this pop at the moment. Okay. All right. Let's, so again, I would say across the board, equities are showing signs of some strength to the upside. Okay. So again, I'm not really suggesting that we participate at the highs, but on any sort of retracement back to a logical level. In this particular case, I'm using London. London's initial balance high could serve as an area to participate in this market to the upside. Okay. That would be a logical area around the, I don't know, 46,000, 46,550 level. Could be an area where we could maybe look to see if we get a continuation move to the upside. Okay. So, but overall, I would say the equities are bullish. Okay. So before, again, we'll make one last pass here across the various markets. Again, I do see my like indicator is a bit light on likes. Okay. So I'm going to encourage people, if what I'm sharing with you is indeed does indeed resonate or does support you in your analysis of the markets, I would encourage you to hit the likes, hit the comment buttons, make a comment, hit the notification bell, do anything positive to again continue to encourage me to do these pre-market reviews for you guys on a daily basis. Okay. All right, let's take one final pass across the various markets. If there's a market here, guys, that you want me to take a look at, I do have some time here until the start of the market, so I'm happy to take a look at that. So if there is a market and you want to entice me to do that, that's also welcome as well. Okay. All right. So looking at the 30-minute chart, again, I was initially thinking that maybe we were headed into, maybe something that would lead us to maybe some higher pricing. Looks like we might end up remaining in some sort of range. We did make an attempt to extend the initial balance range here to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the. I hit it 4 times. Keeps going on and off. Yeah. You don't need to do it more. If you're already done it once, you don't need to do it 4 times, because that's not going to add any more. Okay. That would be a nice feature, but no, it's just basically 1 like per person. Okay, but I do appreciate the attempt here, Dave S. Okay, so looking at this. All right, so we've got the initial balance range established. All right, we have not quite established. We have about 20 minutes remaining before the initial balance range is established. Looks like we are hovering at the upper end of the bearish channel. And have not been able to break above this level. Okay, so I would say that as long as price is unable to break above, then we need to continue to look for opportunities that would lead us lower. And the fact that we have the equities, okay, the equities are showing signs of strength. It leads me to believe that maybe there's a possibility that we could see some weakness in the gold. Okay, I say that from a kind of a correlation perspective. Generally, if the equities are weak, the gold is strong. If the gold is strong, then generally equities are weak. Now, can we have all these markets all pointing in the same direction? Absolutely. I'm giving you generalities here. Okay. Another correlated market that we could take a look at potentially is the dollar. Right? How well is the dollar? Is the dollar moving up? Is the dollar moving down? That's also another correlated market, inversely correlated market on the gold. Okay. All right. So yeah, I would say that until we get some evidence on direction, I don't see any significant evidence. Certainly not on the daily, not on the New York session initial balance. So I'm going to be waiting for some indication on which direction they want to take it. I don't know, guys. If these wicks don't spell indecision, I don't know what to tell you. Right? We got wicks on both ends of these candles, indicating that there is a fair amount of indecision as to where they want to take this market. We made an attempt to get above this channel, failed. We made a second attempt to get above this channel, failed. But this failure has not, at least for now, led to any sort of sell-off back to the other direction, right? So right now we're hovering above our 9 EMA. We're hovering above our VWAP, so indicating that maybe it'll firm up here and we get maybe another leg and break this channel to the upside. All right. Taking a look at crude one last time here. Okay, we're going to look at crude, if I can spell it correctly. Okay, there it is. So what to make of this market? Well, similar to what we were seeing my initial view was maybe that we are going to maybe extend to the downside, right? We are in some bearish structure to the downside, and I was kind of treating this as a little bit of a kind of a corrective pattern, okay, rather than an impulsive pattern, because we are still inside, right? We are still inside a bearish swing. So I don't know. Right now we are hovering around this 60 level. It seems like the 60 level I've said that multiple times in crude oil, but we are hovering again around the 60 level. So is the 60 level going to hold, okay, and offer us maybe a downside trade, or is 60 level going to break and we can use the 60 level as a reference for maybe a move back to 60-40, 60-80, maybe as high as 61, okay? So again, we'll have to we'll have to be patient and wait for the markets, okay? Wait for the markets or market participants to tell us which direction they want to take this. Okay. And last but not least, across all the equities, I would say right now we're seeing signs of some strength. Okay. Maybe it's because of the result of some of the earnings that we received. But you know, there is a fair amount of strength in this market here. Now looks like we've already exceeded and closed above this area. Okay, now the question becomes, can we hold above it, right? This 25,200 level. Can we close above, can we remain above this 25,200 level? And will that generate another leg back to this next resistance zone that I have identified here? Right now, on the shorter time frame, I cannot deny that it appears that we are in some sort of bullish structure to the upside, okay? Right? You can see that we're making higher highs and higher lows. So until we stop making higher highs and higher lows, I have to err on the side of bull. Now that doesn't mean that I have to participate right at this level, okay? Bullish, right? Because I have some levels below that would actually serve as maybe a bit of a discount that would allow me to participate without having to take all that much in the way of risk, okay? All right. ES looking similar, right? It's very similar to what we're seeing on the NAS. Okay. The only thing difference is that we have some different set of numbers here on the right. But again, it does appear we did close above this area of consolidation. Okay. So this area right here, I would say that this is an area that we could watch maybe for a potential return and extension. Okay. So I would not want to see price get below 67.55. Okay. If I'm truly bullish on this market, because if we get something below 67.55, then I feel like we're going to come back down to 67.40 and maybe retest some of these lows here. Okay. So 67.55, I think is going to be a relatively important level when the session opens. Okay. And to see if that area can hold, then maybe we see an extension. Otherwise, if we get below that level, I would expect maybe a little bit of rotation back to the lows of the day. All right. Last but not least, the Dow also showing us similar signs here. We broke this area of resistance to the upside. I would say this 46,550 level could serve as a location for participation to the upside. If I look to the left, I see that we have 46,750. That could be resistant to price. So we'll go ahead and mark that in as red. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at the moment on the markets. Okay, so with that said, again, looks like my like indicator did dip below here, did dip below a bit. So I would encourage you guys to kind of smash that like button if you have not already smashed it. Kindly, if you would, leave a comment or two on the portal to encourage people to participate. I'm seeing more people kind of coming in here now, and as we're kind of winding down. So again, smash the likes, smash the subscribes, smash the notification bells. Let me know and others know how these sessions are supporting your ability to navigate the markets. Okay. So if there are no other requests here, guys, I am taking requests. If there is some other market that you want me to take a look at, I do have some time today since I started on time for a change. If there is a market that you want me to take a look at, I'm happy to do so. Okay. I'm happy to do so. Otherwise, we're gonna wind this down and close with my famous phrase here. Okay. We'll give you guys about 20 seconds here to acknowledge what I just said there and see if there's any requests on any other instrument. Otherwise, we will close the session. Okay, we will close the session. All right, you're welcome, Dirk. Thank you for the comment. Dave S., thank you for the multiple attempts at hitting the like button only to turn it on and off. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I don't see any requests. So we'll go ahead and close this session as we close every session. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right. Vámonos, 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 guys. Let's go. Okay. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your session. And let's go find some opportunities. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon.